afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting, amazing Propagandacast. Me, your host, Imperial Name, the one, the only, master of propaganda. The only sanctioned source of communist entertainment. All fatal 1 vs 1 on Crossroads. To the north it is Jove, fighting for the Wehrmacht. Germany, Deutschland, fighting for the 1st Panzer Division. Versus in the south, it is Gastrodon, fighting for the Soviet Union, Socialism. Comrade Stalin, and the 2nd Mechanized Corps. We got here Mechanized Assault, German Infantry, and Defensive Doctrine with Triple Infantry versus Armoured Assault Tactics here with Triple Infantry as well there for Gastrodon. Also big thanks to Victor for donating and supporting the mighty Propagandacast. And I'm going to keep doing this day after day. So big thanks to you, Victor. You're part of my company, heroes. Also, as always, you can like, subscribe, share as well if you wish to support the Propagandacast in other ways. You can just like me. And remember to press the bell button if you do subscribe. That way YouTube is more likely to maybe try and remind you there's a new video out. They're a bit lazy like that. Anyways, we're going to use on the west side here. We got Dominic's Special Rifle Command here from Gastrodon versus the Wehrmacht. Tends to be a bit rare. Most players go for conscripts here. They can sort of go for a more broader approach, whereas the Wehrmacht tends to struggle a bit more. In fact, we got this sniper side here for Gastrodon. That way, try to put pressure on Jove, who's setting out westwards there. Note the Infantry company is not in place here at the edge, but sort of rather within the base, which is interesting. Normally, it plays it close to the edges, so you can that way get the troops out faster. MG4 setting up to cover the victory point there, so at least allow troops to advance on it. We can see that Gastrodon's already rushed it, so try and deny it there to Joe, at least slow him down a bit. Engineers sitting for the eastern fuel point as well. Sniper almost down there for Gastrodon. Engineers are suppressed by the MG42. Pioneers charging forwards. So it's sniper out there for Gastrodon and the Red Army. Sniper setting out. Grenadiers out there for Jove. So that's 2 Grenadiers, 1 MG42 here, and of course the radio intercept. Gastrodon is very much aware of what Jove's up to. Of course, radio intercepting was not something that was unique to the Soviets. The Germans did as well with the Soviets, and also the Americans. In some cases, in slightly surprising ways. For example, during the fighting in Normandy, the 352nd Division, I think it was around, I can't quite remember the town now, but basically they managed to capture a series of trucks from the Americans, which included radio equipment and codes and everything, so they just easily listened into the American equipment. And the American sort of lines. It's a little fun note there. Sniper moving up, then Engineers moving up again. We got conscripts out here for Gastrodon and the Red Army. Going to use the center victory point for the fatherland, before moving centerwards. Third going to squad there for Jove and Germany. We shall have to see, of course, what Jove commits to. All 3 doctrines certainly offer something there. Personally, I'd probably swing towards German infantry, but that's all because I do like the playstyle of the doctrine. And I also, you know, like veteran squad leaders. But Stormtroopers, 250 half-tracks, and Assault and Hold are sort of the big draws there, personally, for me in that doctrine. 2nd conscript on the way there for Gastrodon and the Red Army. Pushing for the centre of the conscripts, now of course providing cover, fire there with a scoped mercenary gun, which was also a prized weapon amongst German snipers. Little fun fact there. Got this moving for the eastern victory point. Moving up here as well for the eastern fuel point. We got slight movement here, but there's a Pioneer squad sort of watching off there. So right now Gastrodon's right flank's being hit. He's going to have to respond to this again. He's a bit short in infantry, which Jove isn't, so he's going to of course have to rely a lot on the sniper. And of course Jove is likely going to try and take up. There we go, and sort of push for 2 to 2 to then try and deal with the sniper. Going to use his conscripts here, better skirmishing back and forth. Bit of shooting. Bit of killing there. Going to be a snipe. Jurgen drops dead as life ebbs from his body. Back here, still nothing going on, so we're just back here, but there's not really a lot going on. MB4 is pushing pretty aggressively here. I think I tried to sort of catch the sniper with it. Maybe he's just forced to pull back. And if there's a conscripts here, that's going to be a bad engagement there for Gastrodon on the west. He needs to slowly push against the Pioneers. It's going to be a bit tricky there about further support. Note here that Joe's been wiring off cover here. Cheeky, but not quite breaky. One kill of the sniper so far here for Gastrodon. On eastwards there, going to be being sniped at steadily. But not sufficient to sort of screen the sniper. It is going to be possible for Joe to maybe just sort of keep pushing back there. Grenadiers here standing ready. Take up done. Might want to get those Pioneers back soon to then get it going. So right now Joe's got a definite fuel lead here with Gastrodon with both fuel points. Peons was arriving there for Gastrodon and the Red Army. The 2nd Mechanized Corps. Peons was on the way. There's something a bit more heavily equipped for Gastrodon. So far the sniper side hasn't really paid off. Massive dividends here for Gastrodon. Again, the lack of early initial infantry to sort of fight with has rather sort of left Gastrodon a bit behind here. And the sniper so far has not really been able to do a lot either because there's not a lot to really screen the sniper from any direct infantry charges there from Jove either. And of course, once the 2-2 begins hitting, that's going to be further problematic for the sniper. So it's less common overall because of those reasons to see a sniper start from the swords against the Wehrmacht. I think we'd also say, particularly on a larger map like this, there's also, I think, just the sheer size of it, the distances, and sort of the room to maneuver that makes the sniper also a little less of an amazing choice, at least sort of as an sort of initial rush choice. Had been the sniper in later on, I think it would have been a stronger choice here. But anyways, it's still a sniper, it's still going to be an absolute pain in the ass for Jove, but Gastrodon might have made it less impactful in a sense. But now we've got Jove's left flank collapsing, we are seeing troops being dispatched, that's sort of covered up for the time being. Back here, troops reinforcing. Like to make a nice company decently built. Medic bunker might be in there as well there for Jove. His forces are certainly depleted, worn out, battered. MG4 to them being snapped and shot at. Good work there by Gastrodon and the Red Army. 6 kills on the sniper. Back engineers could also consider building the tank return command up. Begin taking a hit there. Canadians running out there for Joe. We got German infantry opening up for veteran squad leaders. Certainly a potent upgrade, though I would say a bit overlooked. Tank command up. They've got double units, of course, to sort of rush it out there, though. With the fuel income as it is, there's nothing to immediately sort of get out afterwards, except a half track and an anti-aircraft half track up pretty swiftly. Could perhaps give Joe a bit cause for concern if Gastrodon wields it sufficiently aggressively and meanly. And Jove here going straight into double 2-2s. Perhaps a mistake, but there's been perhaps a slight increase in PLOs going for 2-2s again, or double 2-2s again. Not 2-2s in general. I mean, people would generally always go for 1 because it's handy, but double 2-2s does tend to be rare due to the difficulty sort of managing them correctly. And it can feel a lot of cases you just don't get the value out of double 2-2s compared with, say, a single T-70 Lux or any other sort of light vehicle that isn't the 2-2. Because even if, say, you know, pay roughly the same amount of fuel, you're paying almost twice as much manpower in most cases to go for double 2-2s. It's not going to feel like, you know, getting that much more out of it, because you also then have to manage more. But at the same time, double 2-2s can be effective. But again, that is with the caveat, it does require some good management. Meaning, again, you're effectively paying a bit more to then also to put more effort there compared to your opponents. So there's a little caveat there. But personally, I do find double 2-2s can be a sort of quite effective tactic on certain maps in particular. Again, the more open maps, like for example this one, where there's more room for the 2-2s to do what they want to do, you can sort of get more value out of them effectively. And the tank can also be certainly finding and blocking position there where Jove can't explode his 2-2s without getting them shot to bits. Ground the western field point, eastern one though. Being seized once more with Jove. We also got veteran squaddies out there. More squads to be upgraded. We've got a bunker up as well there. Still 5-man grenadiers with the veteran squad upgrade means of course 1 G43, but overall just a 10% increase in DPS and 10% less received accuracy. So it actually tends to make them actually pretty good infantry, but still they aren't quite as popular as G43 grenadiers. Oh, to hit a mine, that's pretty bad news there for Joe. Contra, they're going straight for it, but then a tank grenade and hoorah in their hearts. Almost got it. Another 2-2 for Joe, pretty much figuring his 2-2 is dead. He's just going to commit to a third one. Now I guess he might have been planning triple 2-2s all along, which is, that counts it, I would say, pretty ambitious. Got the 2-2 moving in there as well. Damaged engine. Could consider some storms removed, so moving to block stuff as well. Like there's that small building there. You got the 2-2 keeps blasting away at the Contra. They're taking casualties. They're being slowly bled out there. Getting some damage with those armoured cars. Not a lot. We've got the anti-tank pills moving up there as well. They're continuing at the 2-2. Casualties piling up. They're down to just 1 man, or 2 men. That could become none. 1. Anti-tank pills going for the other 2-2. They're moving up down to now 1 man. Just 1 man. And almost going to wipe. They got the 2-2, but the MG42 could wipe the Contra in the retreat, which would certainly hurt Gastrodon a bit. Who was going for the T-70 light tank. Another 2-2 there for Joe and the first Panzer to be shown. And there we go, not quite an equal trait there for Jove. They are close in terms of manpower, but 30 fuel does weigh a bit more than 40 manpower. Mines down here. We got another 2-2 on the way there for Jove. So he's definitely committed to a 2-2 strategy, which again is a bit rarer. Most people just go for them like, you know, a one-off and that's it. So T7 versus double 2-2s. The double 2-2s can do it, but again it's going to require some good handling. And preferably a bit of support from the Grenadiers. Almost got all 3 squads upgraded with the veteran squad leaders. Zooming up eastwards, I'm good to go almost immediately, and there you go, scramming between the Penal Troops and the Grenadiers. Penal Troops there with anti-tank rifles, stand no chance here, and Gastrodon is making the very correct move of just getting the devil out of there before the upgraded Grenadiers just turn them into mush. T7 going for the Grenadiers, they have a chance of getting a wipe on Joe, that's going to be helpful there for Gastrodon. Be very helpful, we've got the 2-2s of the blocking away, or just make it harder to pursue. Or you can see it's sort of getting some damage in there with the auto cannons, and there you go, second 2-2 moving up. He's going to try and dig up the Grenadiers, but he's actually allowing the T-70 to take a lot of damage in return, which could very well increase Jove's chance of taking out the T-70 light tank. Particularly since there's nothing to really cover up the T-70 against the double 2-2s, they're doing a lot of damage. You can see there to the T-70. In this regard, their auto cannons are, you know, quite effective when sort of paired together, so deal with a light armor from the Allies. And there you go, T-70 down. And that's a much better sort of development here for Germany. Now loses the T-70. The 1-2-2 for a T-70 is a much better trade. And of course, he still has 1 light vehicle on the field, whereas Gastrodon is short 1 T-70. And he commits another one. Highlighting, of course, just how potent and important the T-70 is in sort of the Soviet meta game, but even then, a bit rare you'd see one after this sort of development. But clearly, Gastrodon is a great believer in the T-70 light tank here, and wishes to keep, you know, hitting back hard at Jove. We got 569 here. Snarl moving up. We got 17 kills there against Jove. Not bad at all. Pack 40 following up there for Joe and the German army. We've got a mine going off somewhere. Oh, there we go. MD42 hit a Soviet mine. More mines there from Gastrodon. Very good. There we go. 2-2 in pursuit here of the sniper. Counter's moving in to try and kill that, but there's a good chance I think the 2-2 takes that. Nope, I was using infantry awareness to make sure he doesn't, you know, say, run into any surprises here. So there you go, sniper dead, and again, even if he loses the 2-2 here, it's not going to be the end of the world there for Jove. Got the sniper with that one. And in a sense, I mean, he's also essentially forced his opponent to commit to another T-70 to maybe deal with the 2-2s. So in that regard, there's a lot more going on there with the 2-2s. Again, I think they're a pretty reasonable investment there for Jove. Perhaps could have been a bit more judicious in their usage and, you know, trying to keep them a bit better alive. But in the end, he did get a T-70 with him. He sort of managed to bait in some counters and he took out the sniper. So all in all, for 3 2-2s, not too shabby. And then Jove decided, you know, he can't just keep relying on the 2-2s. He's going to have to go for the pack 40 because at some point, Gastrodon's also going to try and take out. At least go something for something a bit bigger than the T-70 light tank. Got counter moving ahead against the Grenadiers and the Pioneers. All 3 squads have now been upgraded with veteran squad leaders. Very good there. Moves an aircraft from the T-70 light tank. Another sniper mode for Gastrodon. Cancels it. Well, at this point, back take for Swamp Company might be a better idea there. Maximus mortars and field guns. As for Jove, taking out now would be, I think, a very good idea as well. Bit of a slip up there by Gastrodon. T-70 went down there pretty fast. Great for Jove, and a bit of an obstacle there for Gastrodon, who's now a much smaller force composition at the moment, the force size. As Jove now has certainly the bigger force and is just pressuring Gastrodon with it relentlessly. And of course, looking to ensure that Gastrodon does not, you know, get too much film, just sort of maybe catch up that way. Maximum load for Gastrodon again, sort of put pressure on Jove's infantry, very good. Kind of hitting themselves up there with the 3 first aid kits. A very nice little bonus there with the veteran squad upgrade. Continues with us the MD42. MD42 be careful, there you go, penal super suppressed. Small bad development there for Gastrodon, but he's still looking just to buy time, I think, here versus Jove. Max machine gun out. Just moving up. Those penal troopers, I think, will not be able to hold the line for much longer. I mean, again, he can hope to stall for a bit, but it's sort of the risky situation. Again, if he just waits for too long, there's a good chance he could risk getting wiped on the tree, or he forgets about the unit, and then he just gets wiped because of that. So, don't think he can sort of afford to wait much longer here. The peon troops are being bled out, and there you go, retreats, very good. Bit of skirmishing along the perimeter of the eastern lumber camp. Pioneers using this into victory point. This is 3 field gun there for Gastrodon. He's obviously worried about Jove getting armor, and Jove is indeed going to go for armor there. We got the spawn crop. And obviously with German infantry, there's no sort of late game tank, and he just stalled to call in. So obviously he's going to have to take up. The question is, does he try to go for tier 4? Feeling bullish, or does he just stick with Suprema cores and getting out maybe some Panzer Force and stuff? Field gun almost done then for Gastrodon and the Red Army. Easy hold by the MD42, quickly hosed down. We've got Galicias in the western field point back. Troops sitting out this well there for Gastrodon. 2 Galicias squads is going to prove to be an obstacle there for Gastrodon and the Red Army. MD42 remains a pain in the posterior, and there you go. Support crop for Jove. That's going to be a Panther 4, I think, out there pretty fast. I mean, he could try and rush around Ostmandy really here versus Gastrodon. I don't think it'd be too bad, but of course, Jove does not, I think, have quite good clue as to where Gastrodon is resource-wise and tech-wise, so... You know, sticking to the Panzer Force is the safer bet, but... Arguably, he could get away with rushing on Ostmandy versus Gastrodon. Consequence of the MU-42 there, especially 7 kills. Opponent called almost done by getting both Pioneer squads work on it. Very good by Jove. And there you go, Panzer Campaign for again the safe choice when you're not entirely sure how many resources your opponent has. Because again, on a smaller map, the sort of situation Jove has, he's probably much farther ahead. But Crossroads, which is sort of bigger and has more resources, it can be a bit harder to gauge how much, in terms of resource your opponent has. He's gone for double T70s. There's still the potential Gastrodon might, be able to push out for a tank pretty fast, in which case a good punish in Ostwind. Gastrodon there, they're going for the double Sis-3 gun. That could very well be Universal Company's language for I'm stalling for a big tank to bail out my arse before my arse ends up in a gulag. Yes, Company's is a very complicated language. Pioneers bring up the Grenadier support and of course the Pack 40. Maxim holding a bit back, needs to get that up. Then the Flamethrower Pioneers going to make it harder here for Gastrodon's line to hold. Panzer 4 is gefechtsbereit. Crashes through the terrain with lots of explosions, but nothing really happening from those explosions. Field bombarding home to sort of snuff out some fascist lives on the west side. We get a bit of light skirmishing there, but Gastrodon's engineers are very much halted firmly in their tracks here by the Grenadiers. Pim's squad almost taken out. That's going to be hurtful there for Gastrodon, who is short on infantry already, and of course. If he's stalling for the IS-2, he's not going to get the Mechanized Armoured Company, and he can't get 7-man counter squads, which would, be pretty helpful here for Gastrodon versus Jove. So that's a certainly a bit of a precarious position here for Gastrodon. He's really going to have to bet anything on the IS-2, and of course use it judiciously and cautiously here versus Jove. Getting some H-6s and maybe T-72 to back up the IS-2 once it's out, I think would be a very good decision there by Gastrodon. Until then, of course, he has to defend the fuel to ensure it does get enough fuel and, not do anything too silly. Panzer 4 repairs. Jove here could begin taking up there. He might also be planning another Panzer 4, which would make things more miserable for Gastrodon on his current state of affairs, since, well, that's 2 Panzer 4s, which is more than 1. And while he does have 2 field guns, if Jove uses them correctly, he can sort of make it harder for Gastrodon to effectively use his anti-tank guns to deal with the Panzer 4s. There you go, second Panzer 4 on the way for Jove and the German army. Somebody's slowly cleaning out the Maxim on the left flank. The far left, very good. Field guns blasting. Grenadiers has the Maxim. 2 Maxim to help deal with all of Jove's infantry. Worth noting that while both of us are going for doctrine pretty fast, that makes sort of huge usage of either way. I mean, you got veteran squad leaders with Germany, got radar intercept so far for Gastrodon, which is much more passive, honestly, than veteran squad leaders. Field guns running out, they're just going to guess try and bombard the infantry up close. I mean, that's not a bad idea. Second Panther Force, and of course immediately leave Gastrodon's ways up against 2 Panther Force now. And you've got a massive minefield here of S-mines from Jove across the eastern victory point and fuel point. Thumbs up there. And an MD-42 cavalry, which of course is very important as well. Because the Soviets sort of found out doing Operation Barbarossa as they retreated and laid down little obstacles. Obstacles are a lot less impressive if there's no one sort of to guard them and hold them. At which point the Germans in most cases just clear them out without much, problem. Because they aren't being shot at while doing it. So I mean, MD-42 carrying the S-mine field is a pretty good idea, since again it makes it just to waltz up and clear it out. But even then, while suppressed, a lot of the S-mines did get cleared out. Getting ever closer to the IS-2 heavy tank, but Gastrodon is not having it easier from Jove, and Jove is going for a mortar. Good investment there. Panther 4 moving in, pressing for the cemetery again. We got a veteran Canadian squad there holding up the line. Panther 4 heading in the pin up machine as well. We got to push towards the east. Engineers moving in. Minesweepers are necessary because Jove is just mining most of the points very aggressively. Very good. MD-42 holding up the eastern side. No mortar support or anything like that to quickly clear out the MD-42. Bit fortunate for Gastrodon. Good luck for Jove. There we go. Panther 4 under fire. IS-2 is available. In terms of command points, on the AC is roughly, in terms of fuel, 2.5 minutes away. Manpower IC is also roughly that. Phone 49 is 11. Grenadiers holding up 22 kills. Very good. Engineers caught in the S-mine field here with the Panther 4, which quickly routes them with effect, of course, setting off the mines, seemingly like they've been spotted by the minesweeper. Field gun bombarding here. Trying to take out the machine gun. One shot hits, others miss the mark. Foot's being slowly bled out here, but Jove holds the line. In theory, could still try and launch a flank assault, pushing through here, and then calling fragmentation bombs to make things firm, and this will there for Gastrodon's forces. In the south, Panther 4 engaging the outskirts of Gastrodon's base, but they've got mines up that prevent any sort of direct push into the base. Good work. Counter was a bit easy, but without further assistance, the counter was on a bad spot. Push for the cover point. Stopped by Jove and the 1st Panzer Division. With infantry, of course, finding further assistance, making it harder for Gastrodon to get that push for the cover point, disrupting Jove's economy and just, trying to rattle him a bit. We got a field coming up, engaging the Panther 4. Maximum's backing up here as well. There you go, Panther being caught here with the double cis-3 field guns, divisional field guns, by the way. They're also regimental field guns, but they're more like the lightest infantry Geschütz with shorter bows, more meant like overall artillery support. First of all, when on the division, the cis-3 were increasingly also used more and more just like artillery rather than into tank guns. Little fun fact. Gunners are pushing back the counter there, very good, very good. Gastrodon is starting to make much of an impact, of course he's not far off from getting the IS-2, and then likely making a bigger impact against Jove. There were 2 Panther 4 in the pack foot. It's not like Jove isn't completely going to get destroyed by it, but it could give him quite a headache if he's not careful. Fighting over the northern Pomp you survived by the Panther 4, halfway to veteran to 1 on that Panzerkampfwagen 4. Troops are healing, reinforcing, contrasting westwards, and there you go, more mines spotted here. A few lone mines clustered around the danger zone. There we go, gone. Panther 4, 7 kills. And strength to MD-42 there, closing on the ace level. Very good for Jove, less good for Mr. Gastrodon. Using the field guns again to try and silence the MD-42. Shots are either flying too far or too short. Good here on the Panther 4 Muscade, and tank rifle there could maybe finish it off. Machine gun routed here. Not a bad push at all there by Gastrodon. Overwhelming Jove's eastern positions on them, which were quite thin anyways. Panther moving up to sort of clog up the eastern side to make it harder there for Gastrodon to push ahead, but he's definitely looking to grab these points here. Interesting enough, he's not going straight for the fuel point as well. Gastrodon's IS-2 is still waiting. I mean, he's definitely got more than enough fuel. He's just struggling with the manpower, which is over the other side of it, and always the danger here when you sort of go for these stall strategies. But they usually do involve having a lot more resources, just doing nothing at the same time. That can also be the trick, in particular, like want to maintain your frontline units. You sort of like can struggle, then has to let some players defeat because again they just kept reinforcing Infantry because that's up to really big things. So they kept delaying the big thing, and they just got caught in a vicious circle because the big thing was probably used to help upsell manpower damage, but again because it can't get out, it's the Infantry that bears it, and of course then he sort of has to keep reinforcing it, so it ends up being a vicious circle which becomes very difficult to break out from. Jove here going for tier 4, going for a Panther Sturmpanzer here versus Gastrodon. Roughly a minute away here from the IS-2, bit under actually, and of course assuming he doesn't end up spending too much manpower reinforcing stuff. Panther moving out, hey Panther Co-op there in Joe's base as well. Oh, Engineer's about to get wiped out. And there we go, dead. Hey Panther Co-op, or Kriegswerk. Probably an old name they used for the building before changing it. Good hit in the Panther 4, putting down to half health. Panzerwerfer for Joe. Highlighting he's definitely taking those field guns quite seriously, which makes a lot of sense. Lots of field gun down here, the NU-42 losing a member, and there you go. Gastrodon can finally go for the IS-2. The Armoured Fist of Stalin. Sending out, there should have the Pinabot machine gun there, of course, for added anti-infantry. Sending it on its own, I think, far west. I mean, if it can pull off a good flank with it, it's going to be great, but if it just ends up charging straight into the enemy lines anyways head on, it's going to be, in some ways, a bit more risky if it does it alone. Still going to need to score there, almost taken up by the IS-2. A Pinabot machine gun might just allow them the needed damage to finish off the bastards. But there we are. Continuing ahead here, need to be careful there isn't any telemine to get stuck out there. I mean, again, our commitment in the IS-2 right now could prove to be detrimental there for Gastrodon there. Already taking hits there. Rocket Maxim, IS-2 that's tearing apart the foot guns there. Almost wiping out the entire unit, but it does end up with a damaged engine in return. And there it goes, so close to getting wiped there on Joe's Grenadiers. Panther up, Panther was the IS-2. Panther 4 gaining veterans on the process, very good. Maximuming up, ooh, right into the shed there, or the house. Could be a target there for the Panther who's unlucky. And that seems to be the case here for Gastrodon. Bombarding the pack with the Sis-3, and there you go, rockets slamming down inside the building, collapsing it down upon the Maximum crew and entombing it within. Need to seize the point there. 6 kills on the Panzerwerfer. Fixing up the Panzer 4. Moving up the east side. We got Pilms with us, the Panzer 4, direct here from the Sis-3 on the Panzer 4, piercing the frontal armour. IS-2 being repaired, using also the self-repair ability, so to assist with that. That's a very good move there by Gastrodon. The faster you can get the IS-2 back in action, the better. Truth be told. Can't really afford to just have it sitting it back and then doing nothing. Joe's got plenty of resources on the hand. The current bottleneck here is population, so they're going to have to suffer some loss if they want to push out anything else. Consequently, they've got the point, we need to fall back. And at this point, I think Gastrodon should just go for Nation 6. Or some T-70s to back up the IS-2. That would require more firepower versus Joe's forces. We'll of course have to see that what Gastrodon does. I mean, he could try and take up, but I feel like just adding more vehicles now, like tanks, to back up the IS-2, so I think they're more crucial at the moment. Panther being pushed back, half health. Other Panther 4 moving in, got a Pack 40 backing it all up. And There you go. That Panther 4's going to take some heavy damage. These nearby walls are under fire. There you go. Jurgen splattered out. Note, still no upgrade for the IS-2. Pack 4 lands a good hit down the frontal armor on the IS-2. Panther 4 though bounces. Grenadiers advancing and are routed. Skirmishing near on the east side. We're going to moving up here against Jove's forces there. Mortar on the maximum crew almost lands, but does miss. Shooting eastwards. I think I try and support here the engineers who are quite beleaguered on the far right flank here against Jove's attack. There you go, quick retreat, IS-2 shoots and misses. 6 kills but close to veterans to 1. And good overall same maneuvering there by Joe, not just getting caught up in just one spot and sort of constantly hammering it down, but sort of actually moving about, trying to play around Gastrodon's forces. Mortar here finds himself in the danger zone here against the IS-2 as Fritz certainly finds him defritzed on the IS-2. And finally adding that pin out machine gun. Got the Eastern Victory Point back in a moment. Back here, troops reinforcing. He does go for the mechanized armor company. Might be getting there, of course, for HD5 to T-35. But again, there's a part of me that just feels like more lighter armor right now would do the IS-2. At least for now, bigger favour here versus Jove. Troops suppressed. IS-2 moving in again. But skirmishing at Penal was Grenadiers. Grenadiers should have the upper hand, particularly with the rifle grenade being added. But also just the fact that Penal troopers basically getting hack out those anti-tank rifles. Big clash here, crawls in the west, and there you go. Pioneers almost obliterated by the IS-2. Panther moving up here and in the far east as well, causing Gastrodon's right flank to rapidly fall apart. Panther moving on in the midst of the concentrated force here, and there you go. Conscript wiped out as trying to escape. Clustered up next to the IS-2, just giving the IS-2 a fresh coat of red paint, I guess. Nothing further there. We got Grenadiers moving up. Shoots and misses. Within range of the Panther blast though. But it fails to penetrate. Lucky Gastrodon there. Great, the Grenadiers at least decent hit. Pack shoots, bounces off the IS-2's heavy armor. Pack 4 laying an assistly on the Panther 4. Down to half health. And there you go, stun round now, heat round from the Pack 40 stuns the IS-2's crew. It's going to need repaired, and obviously Skulls are going to have to use field crew self-repair to speed up the process. Gastrodon though, short on a lot of things. So he needs to flesh out his forces once more. Got S-mines there, Jove certainly not losing a moment to lay down mines, very good. On the west side though. Fixing up the Panther 4. Jurgen shoots, misses. They're going to quickly sort of weaving behind cover. They're finding that cover dissipates before their eyes as the armor piercing around to the field guns just shatter it like brittle glass. Skirmishing here, bit of skirmishing there. Going for the centre victory point. We've got 95 versus 386. Fixing up the Panther 4s. Panther 4 of course ready to go as well. We got the IS-2 setting up once more for Gastrodon and 9 kills. Gonna lose it. Could be in trouble as the IS-2 penals coming in as well. There you go. Shoots, retreats. Joe's gonna have none of that, and there you go. Roughing it on the maximum crew there. Halfway to veteran in the ace level, pushing for the centre victory point. IS-2 mobilising once more for Gastrodon. I'm guessing he's set up for the T-35 with the HD5 to back up the IS-2, and then he goes straight for the Panther 4, Pack 40 backing up there. Veterans 1, 11 kills on the IS-2 heavy tank. And the other Pack shot bouncing. Fighting on the west side, we got Panther 5 down into the base, hoping to kill as much of Gastrodons as possible. Getting some light kills, but mostly in the end killing medics, I think. As to get the support from the field guns. Go straight there, we got fragmentation bombs on the field guns. Good counter response here by Jove. In fact, could even stun up the IS-2, and there you go. One field gun crew annihilated as they are shredded. No chance for cover, no chance for salvation. Panther 4 half health. Field gun behind the Pack 40. Pack crew down. Opens up for the Panther if possible for Jove. And there you go, just going to go for the Panther as soon as he has the population for it. IS-2 pursuing the Panther 4. Good hit on the rear. IS-2 half fleet to Veteran 2, 17 kills. On the west, Pioneers standing and watch. Note they've been upgraded with a 5th man. Good luck. More Grenadiers, or more Pioneers looking for Jove, not Grenadiers. There you go, continuing the pursuit here. Putting the Panther 4, blitzing away. Panther slowly approaching. Getting too caught up, and then goes straight to Grenadiers. Hits something else instead. Grenadiers, of course, put the Savage here, but the IS-2 up close. Panther looking to escape. Grenadiers trying to escape as well, but the X bunching up next to the bunker there, so there's a chance of taking further casualties. 19 kills, 20 kills, slowly approaching the ace, or Veteran 2, they're not in the ace level, that one. 21 kills, again the machine guns in the IS-2 can be surprisingly effective. There we go. Veteran 2 gain increased range, increased accuracy here versus Jove's forces as men are being slaughtered inside the base, but the rest of the situation with Gastrodon across the front is looking a lot more grim. And of course there's still the Panther arriving to give Gastrodon's IS-2 a very, very bad time. And there you go. Panther come fighting for mobilized for Jove, and the first Panther is shown. Going straight here for Gastrodon's heavily damaged IS-2. We got 2 million support, but can he survive? Can he get it done? Main gun still up on the IS-2, but the engine has seen much better days. Panther going forward, Peel troops moving in there. Looks like he salvaged the IS-2 for now, but of course there's the flank here which could be hit with Panzers. Jove's Panzer can cause great harm there to Gastrodon's forces. And there you go, IS-2's flank exposed, and the Panther force knocked it out. And Gastrodon never managed to get any more armor out either, so that did not quite pan out there for Gastrodon. With that, he surrenders. A loss here for Gastrodon, a victory for Jove. Good play by Jove. I think he will play the map better than Gastrodon, make good use of 2-2s. And Gastrodon, I feel like, just shouldn't have gone for an early sniper start. Particularly on a map like this, the sniper start really, I think, cost Gastrodon a lot in terms of just map control. And he really should just go for a consecrated build. He could then always pull up with a sniper, but I think in particular the build he was just weak for the map and weak against Jove, and made it, I think, unnecessarily difficult for him. And similarly, he should, I think, not gone for this right. We should have gone for some lighter vehicles to back up the IS-2, allowing him to pressure Jove more efficiently. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, tell friends, tell family, but don't tell your enemies. This is Imperial Links, and cheers. Thanks for watching. You're all a wonderful audience. Hope to see you all tomorrow again for a nice episode.